And we're live. Welcome to the New York Weightlifting Podcast. I'm James McDermott, joined by Sara Soto. We have been away for a little bit, but we're back. Sara, how you doing?
I'm okay. Busy season is done. I got sick as a result of it. It finally caught up with me, so I'm kind of getting over a cold, but I'm okay. How have you been?
Good. Are you sure it was a busy season and not like, is the season the whole year? Is that how that works? Is it January to October? Is that the season? Because no one's told me what the busy season is, and I have complaints.
I mean, for me personally, it's like April, May are nuts, and then like September through October are very crazy. Like, like plus or minus like a week or two, and it's usually because of things like just stuff that's going on, and it's always like for me board meetings, and then a national meet, and just and then like our WSO meet and a local meet or two, and it's crazy. But now I don't have to worry about anything until December, so I'm happy.
Awesome. Yep. I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks in December, which it's like that. I mean, take that word with a grain of salt on like what vacation actually means. It just means I won't be like going to coach a class, on a certain day,
Right.
But I'll certainly be like here tinkering with things on the computer and who knows. But yeah, it's just crazy how things hit you post like event during the state championships. I was like going, not a lot of sleep. We're getting so much done. And then like the week after, I felt great. Like I was maybe still on the state's high. Is that a thing? State's high?
Sure. Why not?
All right. Yeah. I was on a state's high. And then the week after, boom, just like asleep, all messed up and feeling run down. Everything's hurting in my body. It was definitely a thing. And I feel like I'm still kind of recovering from it. Like the recovery didn't start until a week after. It was really weird.
Yes. I mean, I had forced at that point because then I ran my meet down at Murder of Crows the following weekend right after states. I also had like a bunch of friends coming from like out of town that were like just coming to like help work at the meet, which was super cool. But then it just meant also like I had other extracurricular things to do around the weekend to like hang out with them and stuff like that. So I really didn't get a chance to like take a breath until basically when it finally hit you as well. So
yeah, it's funny. Like oh, a friend's coming into town, and it's like, yeah, this is gonna like throw off my whole schedule, my whole routine. It's a lot of work because you have to kind of entertain because they're coming in from out of town to be entertained. Yeah. It's not like, all right, you just sit over there and I'll be over here. You have to like be doing stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot. I do not recommend. I also had like my dad was like down from Canada to like visit and hang out for like a couple days, and I was like, this is the worst week possible. But whatever, we're through it. It's done.
Yeah, we're through it. It does kind of romanticize a little bit, like those. You hear like from like way back in the day, like in the 15 and 1400s, there'd be some hermit man, and he doesn't talk to anybody, and he lives outside of town in his hut, and he reads his books, and that's it. You're like, you know what? That sounds great. Just out in the forest in a hut, just eating your meals and doing whatever you want to do, and you don't talk to anybody because you don't want to talk to anybody. And after you've talked and dealt with enough people, you're like, yeah, I totally understand why you just want to be out in the woods and just be away from society.
Yes.
Totally get it. Well, events season is done. Mm-hmm. There are weightlifting meets on the horizon. And I have this toxic thing, I don't know if you do, of being like, oh, another weightlifting meet's coming up. Maybe I should go out there and help. And I start to get like, event FOMO, Do you have that?
Not too much. Like I said, especially in this period now, because now also I am training for, like right now we are 8 weeks out from, for me, it's Masters Worlds, but also Virus finals. So we're at the 8-week point. So it's like time to get serious and a little bit more focused. So it's like now I can relax. But I mean, if there was like a very close local meet, like if another New York City gym was hosting one, I absolutely would go help out. But I am not in the business of trying to travel for one between now and December.
Yeah. We have locally the 80K Series 2 meet just up the road in Round Lake. And I was planning all year to do that one myself. I'm like, okay, the team's not going to do that. Like they were coming off of states. But then like now, like I had this whole vision of like, I'm going to do some barbell, I'm going to do some stuff. And that hasn't happened at all. And then a lot of people on the team are talking about they want to do that, or they're already signed up for it. So I'm like, all right, maybe if I'm gonna do a meet, maybe I'll drive down to Long Island and do Chris's Holiday Open in December, because I don't think any of them are going to go down to do that. And then there is the AO, Virus weightlifting finals coming up.
Right. Yes.
I wanted to say AO finals, but
I almost did too.
and that's also the World Masters Championships for the UMWF. Is that correct?
You got it. Yeah, United Masters Weightlifting Federation. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. And I know there's a lot of people in our WSO that are going to be doing that. Any registration still open? What's going on with that off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, yes. I think that there's still a few weeks left in regular registration. I don't have that pulled up. I'll try to do that in a minute. But yeah, it's the two meets. I know for a fact that the UMWF meet, I'm calling it Worlds, whatever, but that is World Masters. But that is going to be a dedicated 2 platforms at this meet for that event specifically. So if you register for the UMWF meet, you will be lifting on those platforms. If you do, there is the option for the dual registration, and you get like a little bit of a discount. It's not, because you're doing them both together. I believe that you will be on the UMWF platform. I have to look at the Instagram. If you look at the UMWF Instagram account, there's actually like a lot of helpful FAQ stuff that they post. I believe I don't know if it's every Tuesday specifically, but he does it pretty frequently. And it says like, if you're in an A session for finals, you are allowed to choose which platform you want to be on, whether it's the UMWF one, or if you want to stay in the finals one and be in the A session, you're allowed to. But otherwise, you are going to be sorted accordingly. But let me see if I can pull that up.
Okay, so that's interesting. So if you're in an A session for finals and also going to be doing the Masters meet, your results only record once, right? You're not lifting twice.
Correct.
Okay. So if you're doing the dual, if let's say you're in the B session for finals, but also you're lifting in the Masters meet, you'll just lift on one of those platforms, right? Like, how are they sorting athletes?
Let me see. Hold on, I'll find this, but let me pull up the finals registration thing. Let me see if I could see that. What does that say? Okay. So bear with me here. Okay. Regular registration. That's the period we are in now. Oh, no. I am sorry. We are still technically in the early registration deadline fee.
Hey,
so you have another week, October 23rd at 4 p.m. Eastern time is the early registration deadline. Regular registration ends November 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then even still beyond that, the late registration period is November 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's how that is going. But so that's good. Get that cheap price locked in. But yeah, like I said, it is, here's our thing. Here we are. There is, it helps if you want to do both, and then you are eligible for awards in both. I am only registered for the Masters World Championships because I was a little broke at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to do the one. But yeah, so, and if you're, remember that the age is 30 and up for that event. So that's how that federation master starts at 30. So.
Okay. Yeah. So, hey, a lot of things to consider there. Early bird still going on. You can be 32 and still participate in the Masters Worlds, and also, still qualify and lift for the finals. And yeah, it's going to be in Texas. Are we in Fort Worth?
No, that's in Daytona Beach in Florida.
Daytona. Hey, who doesn't want to go to Florida in December?
It's pretty good. And the hotel, like the official USA Weightlifting Hotel, is like, that's probably the cheapest one I've seen all year, and it's right on the beach, so you can't really beat that. But I just pulled this up, not that you can see it super clearly, but like this says, this is the United Masters Weightlifting account on Instagram, and it lets you see it says on which platform will I lift. And so if you're UMWF only, you will lift on a UMWF platform. Virus finals only, virus platform. And then it doesn't really explain how, like, if you're in the B session for finals, like which one you will be sorted on. But it does just say athletes whose entry totals make the A session of virus finals may choose their platforms. So TBD on the other thing. But anyway.
Very cool.
That's December.
Yeah. Hey, great December. And follow United Masters Weightlifting on Instagram, so you can be in the know on that. And then definitely check out USA Weightlifting's website. Go under the events tab, and you'll be able to find everything about the Virus Weightlifting Finals and also more about the UMWF. Very cool. Yeah, since I'm going on vacation, I'm like, should I go down there to Florida and volunteer that meet, but then also be down there in Florida? See, this is it's like the brain keeps going, but then like the weekend of, I'll be like, I'm so glad I stayed home, or whatever.
It's gonna be a lot, because the Masters Federation, that one in particular, they have very strict rules about who can be judging and on a jury for that particular event. So you have to be a national ref or higher to be sitting in a chair as a referee for those two platforms. Like, no local refs will be permitted on there. And then you must be Cat 1 on the juries. I think they're allowing Cat 2 because we might be a little depleted, but like, it is supposed to be all Cat 1, and every session will have a jury in that particular event. So
wow. Hey, and a great opportunity to experience international lifting. Especially if you've never done it before, but also because there's that block of 30 to 34 years old where you'd have to wait till you're 35 to do that, in most cases. But now you can kind of go out there and have a different, unique experience. And maybe you didn't even qualify for finals, but you can still do that. It's cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be. I wonder, is there like a roster anywhere where you can see like where lifters are coming from all over the world, like who you're going to be lifting with?
I don't know if that let me see if that start list has anything, but let's see, upcoming events. But I know there's like a little difficulty right now that some people are like, because of people who are dual registered, it's hard to cross-reference because the events are being kept separately for now on bars. But let's see if it says United Masters.
That's something people can check off their weightlifting bingo card or to-do list, like lift an international meet against international athletes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you look at the start list for Worlds, you can see, because not everybody is you don't have to be a USA weightlifting member to lift in that event. It does not have where they're from, like their country. It just says, you can see very clearly though, it's like they don't have a state listed for like where they're from. So like, yeah, I see a lot of people though. Yeah.
Hey,
anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, a good way to close out the year. So we'll be excited to see what's going on with that. And we'll definitely figure out our New York roster of everybody who's going for both events, and then we'll be promoting that and giving shout outs for them on our social media, our blog. We'll do the updates on medals and also the records. No doubt a lot of records will be set there. So.
Yes. But anyway, that's Florida. What about state championships?
Let's talk about it. Is our main topic for today. The New York State Championships went down on the weekend of September 27th and 28th. It feels like it was 5 years ago, but it really wasn't. We're only a little bit past it, and so much has happened since then. It was I'll just say it was a fantastic event. I had a lot of fun, even though like you're in the weeds doing a lot of work. It's funny, the weed work is always a lot of fun. You have to kind of enjoy it to do it, I feel. But it was a great time. I had a blast, and I know a lot of people had a lot of fun. This was told to me this is probably our best one yet, which doesn't mean the other years were bad. It's just that it keeps getting better every year, and it keeps getting smoother too in terms of what we're doing in our operations. So yeah, it was great. And it's funny. It's now that it's done, I'm doing a lot of work for next year too, because we want to get that meet sanctioned. We got to update this, update that, talk amongst the committee about what we want to do. So yeah, A lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I concur. I had a really great time up there this year. It was like you said, it was very smooth. Like we didn't like that also contributes to it being an awesome event for me personally, since I'm helping you with all the stuff. But I don't know. But it was a good time. It was great to see everybody as always. But I mean, I don't know. It was just a super good time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like such an awesome meet, and then you're like, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it afterwards, but that's a good thing. It's like there was like very minimal drama, if any drama, no catastrophe on wrong results were announced or something like that. Like it was just all smooth. And so let's kind of maybe start from the beginning. Let's go pre-Friday setup. So we're gonna do like they do in like the movies. Like, okay, we have our state championships. Now we're gonna go back, in time and then jump forward around. So like it just in the buildup, the meet sold out again in record time. It sells out now every year. This time was a little bit after national championships, I believe. I think it was like July 14th or something like that. So early bird registration opened up on May 1st. And boom, just right away, we had close to 100 people signed up in May. And then the early bird, by the time that ran out, we were nearing being sold out. And then a couple weeks into July, finally sold out. And that was fantastic because that meant we could put together the start list and put it out there. And you had the great idea of making a live document, which that saved me so much time as well, and not having to reproduce a PDF and email to everybody and then change that all the time. I could just take those changes, put it on the Google spreadsheet, and everybody could see it in real time. So that saved a lot of time. It was very smooth. And how cool is that to be able to announce the start list and the preliminary schedule in July, and the meets at the end of September. It's like, okay, it's preliminary. We might have to change some things, which we did, but you have such a good idea for your planning on what you need to do. You know exactly what day you're lifting, pretty much what session you're lifting, give or take. And you also know what your competitors are doing. You can see their weights and entry totals and everything changing. So that was awesome. That went so smooth.
High five. Yes. That's good. Yeah. I mean, things like that, like, yeah, it like you said, it's cool every year to like keep coming up with things that make it better for everybody involved, like volunteers, coaches, athletes, like everybody. So that's helpful. I mean, my thing is always like, I have just, and I mean, you have learned this too, but it's just people don't really read emails when they come, especially when they come from like USA weightlifting, like from anything sent through bars, like people kind of just like ignore for whatever reason. Some people don't get it. So yeah, the less you can send stuff out that way, the better. And people can just, I don't know.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I should be sending my emails through bars because I know there's like a cohort of people with Gmail that like maybe it's because I'm sending out 200 emails at the same time and their security is somehow picking up on that I must be going to spam for some people somehow. I don't know. But then again, you'd be surprised when you see some inboxes. You ever have a friend where you like see their inbox and you're like 2,000 unread method and like you almost have like an anxiety attack. You're like, I can't handle that. How do you find anything?
Yeah. I mean, that's a specific kind of person. Like we are very organized people. So like, yes, like I see that little red, like, like alert, what do they call it? Like a banner or whatever, or like and I have a heart attack. But then there's like my sister, for example, who is actually fairly organized, but it's like I sit down at her computer to just look at something and I could see her Gmail box and she's got like 627 things. And I'm like, how do you live like this? But
it's crazy.
Different strokes for everybody.
I'm pretty sure. Did I send you a picture of all my states folders and WSO folders in my email on how everything like volunteers, sponsors, media, like everything has its own spot, entry changes, because otherwise I would never be able to find it. And then we're doing this thing where you're like, I told you I sent this in. I gotta scroll through. Instead, I know where the folder should be. And You know my policy. I have my which this there's my all right. I call it McDermott error. I'm like, all right. There's so many changes in numbers and everything being thrown at me that like I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm only human. So if I make a McDermott error, it goes in the favor of the person.
Mm,
But having the live spreadsheet, I think, kind of helped to mitigate that a lot because a lot of people you'd send a change in and I would just make it right away and I would respond back to you. The change has been made. It's on the spreadsheet. Go double check it. And then now you don't have to be waiting like several weeks to get another document. And then you have to remember to change it. We can just get this done right away. And so that helped to reduce that a lot. And being able to make the schedule on or on an OWL and the software, being able to do all of that well in advance, it makes life so much easier because people would be surprised. We've talked about it many times on this podcast. The paperwork is insane for a meet. Even a local meet, it's so much you have to do. But a meet this big there's a lot before, during, and then after. It's insane.
Yes. Yeah.
All the things. So there's our bulk of the summer. We're getting things done. We have new medals come in. The new medals look so good. What do you think about the new medals?
They were very nice. They're, substantial medals that people like something that makes a loud clicking sound when you're walking around wearing all of yours.
Shout out to Hasty Awards. That's the new company we were going with. Typically we would go through Crown Awards, which, all right, we don't have to have a whole 20-minute rant on Crown Awards. Had many issues with them personally in the past, but Hasty Awards, they got it done. Very economical. Highly suggest you check them out. Super easy to work with. And I even talked to them after the meet on how we might be able to get things going for next year's meet, because we had the lanyards this time where that said the year on it, which, okay, that's great. But what about the medals that have the lanyards on them now? How do I get 2026 on those? So, because otherwise I have to cut them off, but now I have a medal without a lanyard. They said you can either send it back and they'll take the medals that you already purchased and put the new lanyard on it, which is a cool service. Yeah. Never heard about that before. I imagine you'd have to pay for shipping, but in the, with salvaging all those medals, that would definitely be worth it.
Huh.
And then, or they also said that they make, and this is probably what we'll do with the next batch coming up, they make a Velcro strap. So you can do it yourself, extra work, but now that makes it easier for the turnover for the next year. You just have to order X amount of those lanyards for the ones you want to replace, and then you just have a bunch of extra that's the cheapest part of the medals, the lanyard. So figuring out that whole situation, they're very easy to work with, and I've never heard about either of those things being an option, of Velcro thing, so you can do it yourself, or sending it back and they'll do it for you.
That's interesting. Yeah, because we have I've changed the design of some of our medals because we kind of do a very similar thing at Murder of Crows for our meets. And I was actually researching that this past week because we have a past design that we don't use anymore. And I would love to do something with the excess we have, like recycle it or whatever. And that's just not a thing. You can't do that. There is a company now that has just started in Massachusetts that will let you recycle the medals. I don't know what they do with them. I don't know if they personally, it's a very small operation, and it's mostly runners who have gotten running event awards and stuff, but you can send them you can send the medals to them and they melt them down. You don't get any money back for it. There's nothing. It's just, that it is being recycled. They will use it to somehow make somehow it benefits running events and things somehow. I was interested in that, but I also thought shipping back a box of medals is heavy and that's going to cost some money. So
yeah, it is expensive. That's cool though. I know. Yeah. I'm still learning more. I know USAW has a place that they send medals to recycle them. But I didn't get deep information on it. Just we do that. So I need to look into that a little more. And I know it's kind of an expected loss on an event. You're going to have extra medals, and then what do you do with them? You can throw them away. You can try to recycle them. So maybe that's the thing that'll eventually become bigger with melting them down, because that's I've always contacted all these companies. I'm like, can I send them back to you and you give me a credit for my next order, and then you can melt that down and make more medals. But a lot of places don't do that. So imagine all the medals from all the events of all the sports floating around out there, all the extra medals. It's like a sad story, like the island of misfit toys. It's like all the unclaimed and unearned medals just sitting in a box without a home and an owner. Someone could make a little children's book about that or something.
Yeah, that's really sad.
So medals came in great. We had all of our awards and everything. And by the way, Hasty Awards, I'm gonna look into this. I asked them, hey, do you have like a weightlifter like trophy thing? They don't have one, but they can make one, and they've made like custom like things like that before. And so I'm looking into that. Maybe we can do something cool for states for the best lifter awards, like have it be something like we've done plaques, but maybe like a trophy that's more specific to weightlifting, and maybe we put a known weightlifter on it, or it's just generic. Either way, maybe we can do something cool with that. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get like for the Masters Awards, it's Jerry, like a snatching, snatching, something like that, something cool,
Yeah.
So medals were great. Setup went very, very smooth. Both setup and breakdown went very smooth. We had the most help we've ever had, possibly for both of those. We had a lot of people coming in on Friday to help set up. Shout out to Greg Decker. Rising star in the WSO. He's volunteering. He's at all the meets. He was the first one to volunteer for states all the way back in January or February. He was one of the first people to sign up for the meet. I actually think Nathan Jew from Iron Forge Weightlifting beat him by, we're talking seconds, because like Bar's report will tell you minutes and seconds. They were in a race, not knowing it, from across the state on who the first one for early bird opening to sign up was. So, so the second person to sign up for the meet itself, he showed up at 10 a.m. on Friday. I had no idea he was coming that early. I came down the elevator and he was, or maybe we walked in after we got breakfast and coffee.
We had pulled up with the car, and he was like at the door to the ballroom. Yeah, because we had some stuff in your car that we were going to unload.
There he was, and he was a huge help right away, helping to bring in all that stuff. Then going with Frank to CrossFit Sona to pick up weights, and then moving the wood. And then big shout out to Andrew Hagar from Sona Weightlifting and CrossFit Sona, letting us use his truck and moving all that wood. We have a storage unit about 10 minutes away, and he was working all day. He showed up at noon, and he didn't leave until about 7:30 at night. And he even before he left set up the blue platform. He laid out the wood. And so like he went above and beyond. And then with the breakdown, again, we had to use his truck to do it. And you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal about using? Everyone's got trucks and whatnot. It's like, well, using his truck saves the WSO $1,000 on a U-Haul rental, and also the risk of not getting the U-Haul there in time, so you don't get billed again and gas for the U-Haul. Because Joe Rodriguez for many years was getting a U-Haul in Poughkeepsie, driving an hour to 45 minutes away to get the platform wood out of the way, then driving to Binghamton with the wood, getting it all there, along with all the plates and barbells and stuff he was outfitting one of the platforms with, or the platform. Then at 1 o'clock in the morning, after it's all loaded up, driving out to back out there to get it. So it's been a pain point, and this was super helpful. And also having the bodies to move that stuff, and having you there to help set up the electronics was also a great help. Well, all right, first, you and I getting there Thursday evening. Whoa, that was huge.
That's a game changer.
It was a game changer, because normally I'd be leaving Albany at 7 or 8 a.m., getting there 9 or 10 a.m., and then having to get everything out of the car. Let's say I'm starting like paperwork or electronic stuff solo at around 11 to noon. But then people start coming in, everybody needs you. So the fact that you and I were able to like start to get that stuff in there, it was in there earlier than ever. And then, all right, let me go with them to get the wood and start that process. Then when more help comes, all right, I can help you with some things or do other things. And then you're getting all the electronics like laid out and set up, and like like super help, like just another body, another person that knows what they're doing in certain situations, or just it all went the extra mile. And also I think it also went an extra mile to like make sure that like no one is like completely destroyed energy wise by the time the event even starts. By the time it even starts, you know.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
and
was
I'm going to give
huge.
an extra shout out to Jean, who showed up at the end of the night. Like you and I were like still there. It's 9 o'clock. I was like ready to tap out. And then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just James here. And you're literally crawling on the floor, taping down the cables. And I am like, I cannot leave with this. So then we're doing that. And then Jean showed up and he was like, it was like an angel showing
Yep.
up.
Yep. He was like
he jumped in right in
him.
hell. Yes. So thanks to everybody. And Erica, Queso, oh my gosh, thank you so much too. Like, everybody that showed up and helped, we really appreciate it.
Shout out to the Storches, Jim and Mary Storch. Mary, we had a horrible wire. What's that thing called when all the rats like their tails? Rat King?
Yeah.
We had a horrible 50-foot Ethernet cord, 20 Ethernet cords, rat-tailed all around. And it was like, I was like, oh, who is going to deal with that? When can we even deal with that? And Mary Storch was there, and she patiently sat down and untangled every single one. It didn't even seem possible to me. Like it just looked impossible the way that was all bunched up. So she got that completely set. Jim was moving equipment, building the banners with Jeff Scott. Jerry was helping. Joe T was around. So Joe Triolo, moving stuff around. So that was great. We had Erica, Alyssa, and Sam Axton down in the weigh-in rooms, setting up all the gift bags. So all the gift bags you got, T-shirts, everything. It takes forever to get that done. That's hours. Like in the past, Sarah, I've done that job in my apartment here at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning before I have to leave the next day, because it's got to get done. And when is there going to be time to get it done? Who's going to do it? So it's like we're finally at a point now where it's like, if you can sleep, you could get sleep. That doesn't mean I did sleep, but the opportunity's there at least now. So that was fantastic. Nathan Jew, he was bringing equipment and he was trying to coordinate that down. And, they were going to have to take multiple trips. So a huge shout out to Iron Forge Weightlifting. Like they contributed greatly to the breakdown. Like their whole team stayed after and helped move a lot of that wood out. So that helped a lot. But he also took a special trip down Friday to bring all the equipment that their gym was going to contribute. Because they're originally going to be like, all right, we might have to coordinate bringing the men's bars down on Saturday just because of fitting it all in a vehicle. But he was able to get a truck and bring it all down. That way we had the peace of mind that everything's here Friday, which that's another thing. It's like, I hope it all shows up, because it's not all stuff that we own. It's stuff that we're borrowing. So Frank Ford, he did so much, him and Sona Weightlifting and CrossFit Sona and Tracy Meyer, they all outfitted the entirety of the red platform, all the equipment, all the wood. And so that's a lot of trips. Frank's got 2 little girls that he wants to be around, not let alone help with. So, that's time away from that to come and help us with this. And Frank is so good about having things in the back of his mind. All right, this has to get done. We didn't have a ratchet set. Maybe the WSO should have a ratchet set of our own, but he had to come in bright and early in the morning to make sure the chalk buckets were tightened up, because we had brand new chalk buckets that we got this time. Nice matching Rogue ones, and 1 million blocks of chalk. We're good for chalk for many, many years. I've made sure of that. So everybody, and if I left someone out, I apologize, but everyone contributed so greatly. It was awesome. And John right at the end there too, because I was not going to leave till all those wires were taped down. And man, the wire tape was so awesome.
Yes, that was a good find on your
the Velcro. And it wasn't my find. The hotel suggested that the year before. So like that was something like on Saturday, 2024's event. The lady who was refilling the waters comes in and she's like, she saw we had taped it, and she's like, we have these Velcro strips you guys could have used. And I'm like, what's that? And she's like, oh, it adheres to the carpet. puts down the wire, and then you don't have to take the tape off the wire, which you could damage a wire, or that gaffer's tape is the glue
so sticky.
sticks.
Yeah.
So like that might be forever. And so I was like, oh, all right, well, they have about 70 or 100 foot of it, and I just ordered 300 feet of it, which we have a couple rolls left. Like we pretty much used all of that tape.
Oh wow.
And man, that was so cool. Like it made it look so clean, so consistent side to side. And also we're not wasting gaffer's tape. So we're last year I had to order so much extra gaffer's tape because we used so much of it. Now we have enough to last a couple of years because we're not going to have to tape down so many wires.
Yes.
So everything, getting extension cords, more power strips, like it's mind-boggling, the inventory list of all the stuff we need to run this event. So thank you to all the volunteers for that. So
yes.
And then that carries us into Saturday, day one, women's weightlifting. We had great performances. We had an epic battle on the red platform, I believe, for session 4 going on over there. I didn't get to see it. I would like to go and look at the live stream for that one, which, by the way, if you go on this YouTube channel, you can see all the live streams done by Cup of Joe Weightlifting. Shout out to Michael Rodriguez. He was doing the instant replays and all that stuff, and the sponsor announcements. So you can look at your session. You can snag lifting videos from that. And real quick, while I'm mentioning them, shout out to our sponsors. We had Element. We had USA Weightlifting contributed some cool items with the little drawstring bags that had the bands in them. So that was super cool of them. And they also had some things in there for the committee. So that was cool. Some nice notebooks. We also had Planet Fitness. So everybody has a purple pen now. I never had a purple pen. It's not, and maybe I should add it to one of these, cells there. But so they supplied stickers and all that stuff. And those guys were super cool. And they seemed really interested in weightlifting. They were blown away. I remember Adam Howrachek, sorry if I mispronounced that, from Avitas Weightlifting. They were watching his session and they were amazed by Adam. Like they were just like over there. And I'm like, what, how you guys doing? And they're like, look at this kid lifting and whatnot. Because they just could not believe the amount of weights that some of the youth and junior athletes were lifting. They're more from the powerlifting world.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
They were completely blown away by it, and I'm gonna see where our relationship with them goes, because they may also have people that might want to get involved with like loading and helping and doing different things, because they have like this community around them of weightlifting and powerlifting enthusiasts and people who do meets. So that might be a cool relationship that we can continue to foster with them out there. They own all the Planet Fitnesses in the area out there, and I think a bunch of them up here. So it's a big group of them. Meyer Supply. So Tracy Meyer's husband, who she is the one of the co-owners of CrossFit Sona and Sona Weightlifting. Meyer Supply, he contributed some funds that we were able to funnel into cash prizes and awards for athletes. Fit Aid supplied drinks, that we use for the volunteers. And I believe that's it. Of course, Scene from Iron Brand Co. Printing out our shirts and did the cool purple this year, which he could do a whole hour talk on how difficult that was with all the different shades of the purple. So we're super grateful for everybody that contributed. We had cool magnets from Sticker Mule. I'm glad we went with the magnets this year because I have one on my fridge now, and just something a little bit different. So yeah, so awesome with that. And so back to the lifting. Great performances all around. The ladies killed it.
Yes, I did not get to see. That's always the problem, because I do all the weigh-ins usually on the Women's Day for like a whole platform. So I'm mostly in the basement for the most of the Women's Day. Unfortunately, I come up and poke up as soon as I can. But yes, I heard about a lot. It's very funny being in the weigh-in room when there's lifting going on, because you actually can hear the weights dropping.
Yeah. I remember last year when the the final men's session was going, the 109s, the 109 pluses, and we were me and Frank and a group of other people were down there getting some quick mac and cheese, in the down there in the volunteers room, and then you just hear boom, 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 as like 300, well, not 300 kilos, but like a lot of weight was coming down on it. So that's funny. Hey, that building can handle it. We're stress testing it for sure. They hotel doesn't seem concerned, so we won't be too concerned.
No, but I'm just saying that's as close as I get to a lot of the lifting down there.
For the men on Sunday, we had an earlier start, for the men, and the Masters men got right to it. Everything went well. We had so many great lifts happen. We had so many medals going on, and I will say with the medals across both days, there are only 2 instances that I remember of someone not coming out to get their medal. This is the highest percentage ever of like people sticking around to get their medals. We tested it out this year. I was nervous about doing the medal ceremony when another platform was lifting. But then, I can't remember if you pointed out to me or someone else did, like there'd normally be another microphone going on the other platform anyways, and lifting going on and cheering going on. So it really wasn't that much different. And I, hear anything about it, but that really helped us stick to the schedule. And I think that needs to be a practice going forward. When a session's done, hey, it's going to take us like 45 seconds to print that report. You better be ready to get out there to get your medal.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a valid thing. It's like us as like meet directors, it's like our biggest priority is keeping everything running smoothly and like you said, according to the schedule. So that is kind of a thing that I feel like needs to happen. It's also nice because it is in the center. There is a very dedicated area. There's a podium facing the crowd, like everybody in their seats can see it. I think it works better, and I think that this is my opinion, but I'm guessing that most coaches and athletes would rather have things stay on schedule and also maybe have a slightly shorter, more concise day because we are not allotting time for those medal ceremonies to take up extra time, like that we have to make sessions run later and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe that's something. I don't know if I can't remember if you do a survey or not, but might be something to ask.
We do a survey. Sent that out. I actually just sent the results to the committee because we're going to talk about it at our next meeting. But no mention of the medal ceremonies, and now it's like you can pretty much guess right when it's going to happen. And we can't put a definitive time on when it will be, but it's whenever that last lift is done. You can rest assured we're making a solid effort to print out that report, get over to the empty mic, and start calling people out. And that way, no one's gonna like, all right, the red platform's still going. My platform's done. Let me go run and grab a coffee real quick or something, and then you miss your ceremony because we want you to have your time on that podium. We want to get you out there. We want to put that medal on you. You earned it. And it's good that we were able to do that for the vast majority of people. There's only one person that wasn't physically able to come out to do it. And then the other person, they were a dual athlete. So they had already gotten some of their awards and they had their kids there and everything. So a teammate helped out. I believe that might have been, I might could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
But yeah, highest percentage ever of people sticking around. So that was great.
That's great.
A lot of big lifting.
And also, little side note there that you just made me think of, people ask, like why you organize the meet how you do with the weight classes. And that is exactly why, because while it is nice, like, I always argue that like entry total order is great. Like that's great for a local meet that is not this many platforms and stuff, but you want everybody to get their medals. And so the only way you can really do that is keeping the weight classes together. So that is why we do that the way we do.
Exactly. And it's like every meet will have its own function or style. People have to understand that with the volume of the state championships, we have to do it a certain way. We can't have a medal ceremony only at the end of the day because everyone's going to go home. Come on. Or everyone's going to go out and do things so it's just best to do it by weight class. Everything's cut and dry. You know who you're competing with. You know who your competitors are. There's no situation of, all right, I am a 79 kilo man lifting early in the morning, and the rest of my group is lifting throughout the day, but they all bomb out or someone withdraws and stuff, and I actually get on the podium, but I didn't think I was because I had the lowest entry total and I lifted on the first session, and all the guys had a rough go of it on sessions 2, 3, and 4, and now I don't even get a chance to be on the podium because I was kind of written out from the beginning a little bit with the way the meet was set up. So yeah, this just keeps it super clean. And you know, if that's how you like it or think it should be, run a meet, do it that way at your meet. But like this is with the volume we have, it just has to be a little different. We can't have it be perfect like that, you know. And I know some people would like, you know, of course, a primetime type situation is a great idea. It works in some situations, but for those reasons as well, it doesn't really work at the state meet. You know, it's the state meet. Just let the state meet be the state meet. Just let it be.
Well, it also mirrors how a national meet is run, right? And
yeah,
that's how that goes. So, I mean, you know, we don't have as many the volume like a national meet does in terms of like we're doing like A, B, C, whatever sessions, but that is what they do. Everything is grouped together by I mean, weight class within or entry total within the weight class, but primarily weight class.
Yep, definitely. Shout out to all the volunteers that sat in the chairs and loaded those barbells all weekend. You know, I said it, if you go to the blog on the WSO website, I broke down what each volunteer did by job. And you'll notice that people wore many hats. People were loading, reffing, marshaling, setup, breakdown. And you'll notice if you count, there's only a certain amount of people there. You know, we had less total volunteers this year than last year. So that means even more people doubling up and doing multiple jobs. People working 4 sessions in a row. That's a lot. And shout out to Jerry and Joe talking all day on the microphone. That's a lot. You know, I know they love to do it and they're really good at doing it, but like that's a lot of work. So
yeah, it is.
I'd encourage athletes and coaches, you know, at the very least, you know, after a session, I don't think it's a thing anymore. You know, it used to be thank the loaders. Hey, thank you for loading the bar. Thank the referees. Thank the speaker and the marshals. Hey, you did a great job. You got my changes in, you know, quickly, because I know they appreciate that, and they're there for you. Now, they, you know, we're on the committee side. We're trying to do as much as we can to take care of our volunteers, but a lot of those individuals, they're selflessly doing the little tongue twister, doing it, and that means that, and they're not even lifting. They're driving in, getting a hotel room. You know, hopefully we're helping them if we can. If not, they're paying for it, and then they're there night and day helping out. So thank those people, and we thank them profusely. We wouldn't be able to run a meet without them. So
totally, yes.
Any other standouts between both days, lifting wise or volunteer wise, or anything pop up in your head?
I mean, I just think of, like, you're just talking about loaders, like, huge shout out to Kyle and Alex. Those two were like amazing. I kind of can't remember a session where they were not sitting in a chair and loading and smiling, you know, except for when they were both lifting. So extra big shout out to them in terms of loading. I'm trying to think of lifting. I did see a lot of stuff. I don't know. I feel crappy being like, oh, I kind of can't remember off the top of my head right now, because there was a lot of awesome lifting and it was really, I don't know. It's just, the things I remember are just like smiles of people, you know, walking away from the platform when they know they did something, or like a high five with their coach. Like, that's kind of the stuff I remember. I hate to say it when I'm like in it, because everything else is kind of a blur, but it was, I don't know. So I just remember big smiles.
Everyone was having a good time, and I guess that takes us to the records. We had 312 records either established and set, or record standards broken across 2 days. You know, we had 54 state records that were broken, and then we had 258 state meet records that were established. Now, they were established because we the weight classes were redone, and we have new weight classes as of June 1st, 2025. So we had to wipe out all of our state meet records. You can only set those records at the event itself. And so whoever finished the event got those records for categories that they qualified for. And then for the state records themselves, we had I think most of them were broken record standards, 54 broken record standards. There might have been a few instances of someone, snagging a record from someone else. That's all been outlined in the blog on our website. But that's super cool. And we had people opening up with state records and doing a state record each time they lifted. HK from Hoyan Chow from New York Weightlifting Academy. She and apparently she posted on social media. She didn't even know that she was doing that. I thought that was the plan. Let me tell you. All right, HK is one of my favorite New York WSO athletes. Like I'm a fan, and I loved in the lead up. If you follow her social media, she was like not talking smack, but like talking like locked in, like talking, I'm ready. Like I hope people are ready. I'm like, we're making lifts. Like she had all this commentary on so many of her stories. And I was so excited to have her there and see her. And then I saw like, opening attempt. And it's a record attempt. I'm like, man, she's really going for it. Like the seriousness that she was like portraying and locked in was awesome to see. That like I felt like she was like someone locked in for the World Championships or the Olympics or nationals. Like it was incredible. Did you see any of that stuff that she was posting?
I did not. Again, all blur, not looking at my phone very much, but yeah. But that's awesome.
I was following the thread all summer, and everything. I think
you're saying like, yes, leading up to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see something. Yeah, for sure. She was stoked.
Oh yeah.
She was like excited, like literally at the end of last year, like in 2024. Like she has been, very much looking forward to this meet. So,
if you look in the write-up that I did for the records on the blog, I'll mention this too. We had two athletes, Claire Wesh and Jerry Dunn, who went a perfect 9 for 9. So that means they set a state record with all three of their snatch attempts, all three of their clean jerk attempts, and that lined up to being the total on each of those matchups also was a state record. And then if you count in the fact that they were also establishing the state meet records, they went 18 for 18 on setting records. So that's super cool. It's you can get nerdy and look at all the numbers and stuff like this, and that's a cool thing to see. Nydia Pardo set state records across 2 age groups. She set masters records and senior records, which is very impressive. And Kaden Vanderhoof did the same thing for youth and junior age groups. And quite a few athletes also did the same for state meet records, on different categories. But I just really singled out the state records for that part. And that's super cool, just as I thought that was an interesting stat on like, wow, you're just crushing it across the board.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Yep. And then I'm going to pull it up here. The state champions are listed on the website, so you can see for each category who the state champions were, what their Sinclair was, their best lifts. And I just want to shout out and mention the specific best lifters. So we'll start in the youth category. Best women's youth lifter was Aubrey Gibbs. Best junior woman lifter was Ariana Oliveri. Best masters woman was Nydia Pardo, and she was also the best senior lifter as well for the women's category. She got 2 back-to-back best lifters because she was dual registered. For the men, best youth man, Adam Halrichak. Best junior man was Robert Rode, who putting up huge lifts. If you look at the snatch and clean jerk, it's super cool to watch our youth and junior category. Boy, like, are they going to just keep climbing up? We have some serious lifters coming up in New York State for sure. It's going to be awesome to see when they get to the senior level and how they've progressed and how their lifts grow. But I just can't imagine being a youth lifter and you're already snatching like in the 120s. And stuff.
I know.
It's incredible. Best Masters man was Brian Zhao. Best senior man was Mark Marquez. And some of these are multi-years in a row or second year or third year in a row. So shout out to those guys. And then for the team, Griffin Strength Barbell won both the best women's and best men's team. So they took home the banner and a barbell. So they now have 4 barbells from the New York WSL. We're just going to, at some point, they're going to be like, please, we don't have places to put barbells anymore. Like, so yeah. So shout out to all of our best lifters and our best teams and everybody for just outstanding performances. People were going for it at this meet. And that's another cool thing to see at like a championships. Like of course we had like a lot of people go 6 for 6 and making high percentage lifts, but there were a lot of instances where people were like going for lifts. Like they were either trying to set a record or to win the medal or get on the podium. And whether they did or not, we appreciate the effort. And it's just awesome to see. I feel like as the meet progresses and it gets smoother and smoother, we're also kind of seeing the level of lifting keep rising. I'm noticing that year to year for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Just looking at all these numbers. So very cool. Great job, all the athletes. Great job to all of the volunteers. One other thing I wanted to touch upon, Sarah, was the Hall of Fame. Can't forget about the Hall of Fame. So we had many inductees into the Hall of Fame for the class of 2025. We had earlier in the year, we had announced Stan Bailey and Joe Triolo. And Stan Bailey has passed away in previous years. So receiving the award for him was Dr. Richard Siebert from Titan Weightlifting Association, the oldest weightlifting club in the country. I think in 10 years, they'll be 100 years. I think right now they're about 90 years. I might be off by a year or two, but I remember asking Dr. Siebert about that because I was like, how old? And 90 years. So they're going to be a 100-year-old barbell club pretty soon. That might be oldest in the world. What is the oldest barbell club in the world? I don't even know for weightlifting.
That's a really good question. I don't know, because it's like, you have all the country federations. I don't know that anybody has tracked individual clubs within that. So, yeah. Wow.
So, Dr. Siebert received for Stan, and he has the plaque and to try to get it to the family. And it was really nice of USA Weightlifting way back early in the year to share the post on Stan and just to let people know about the contributions that he's made. We have so many individuals from New York State that have they wrote the rule book. They did this, they did that, and it's just incredible to see and learn the history that comes right from New York. Makes you really proud to be from New York,
It's true, for sure.
Joe Triolo, the top technical official in the world, if it doesn't get any higher than him, and you were there to speak some words about Joe. He's been a mentor to you, so that was pretty cool. Was that your first time kind of inducting someone into a Hall of Fame?
Yes, for sure, and that was very hard. It might have been easier if I had a little bit more I don't know, distance between, I don't know, but it was really hard to speak, on behalf and just say such nice things about Joe because it got me very emotional and I was going to cry. So I had to kind of cut it short.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely felt that too. Like you think you're going, all right, like you could do this, but like you appreciate what they've done so much. And then you start going through in your head, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. And this, all these things. So specifically to Joe and also to Chris, who I'll mention here in a second, with giving them the plaque and shaking their hands and be like, thank you for all you've done. I was clenching hard just to get through just even that a little bit. Boy. So we had Stan and Joe, and then the other next two inductees were Artie Dressler and Murray Levin, which Artie wrote the encyclopedia for weightlifting. So it's still out there on Amazon, literally wrote the book on weightlifting as a whole. and he continues to
Former
write.
USA weightlifting president for many years. Yeah.
Yep. So running the entire country's organization, running the New York organization back when it was the Metropolitan LWC, has done so much. And Murray Levin, who I'm still working on putting out a post on him, but something that Frank Mintz told me is that way back. So we all know that women's weightlifting wasn't a part of weightlifting at a certain point in history. Artie and Murray Levin were big proponents of getting women's weightlifting going, and they were actually like voted down and voted against and whatnot. So like all the politics behind closed doors, that happened back in the day, and they championed it, and now it's here. So it's like when you think about it, it's like they're a big reason that there's a women's session and women's day at the state championship. It's because these two guys went to war to get it to happen in the sport period and in the country period, and to have a women's nationals and all that stuff. And then eventually the first worlds, which Murray Levin had a whole lot to do with that. So like, it's just incredible. Like, hey, you can kind of come into the sport and be like, oh, this has always been the thing. When I was like, no, people had to fight for it at certain points, and they're from New York, and we're shining a spotlight on them now, So you can see Artie Dressler. He still attends the meets down in Long Island. He doesn't travel a lot for things. But if you go to the Holiday Open or the Larry Mintz Memorial, if you want to meet this historic figure and shake his hand and get a picture with him or say at least thank you, that there's probably your opportunities to do that, and get his book, The Encyclopedia of Weightlifting. Everyone should own that too. I have a copy on my shelf. And then Murray Levin, we're trying to, Artie's trying to find him and get up. He's in his 90s now. So he's trying to find him and get him the plaque and let him know and all that stuff. I don't imagine when you're in your 90s, you have email or social media or anything like that anymore.
You never know.
You never know. And then the last person was Chris Smith, LWC president for decades, and he's done so much for, New York weightlifting. We could have an entire episode just talking about Chris. So it was great to be able to honor him at the meet, and also to honor the people that were able to while they're still here with us, so they could know that they're appreciated, and that and people can talk to them and meet with them and all that. So yeah, the Hall of Fame was awesome. I'm glad we were able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything I have on my list about the state championships. Fun time. Can't wait for next year,
Yeah, let's do it again next year.
which, by the way, save the date. September 26th and 27th, 2026. This is second public announcement of that, but it's in the meeting minutes somewhere. Same weekend, same place, Binghamton Doubletree next year. We might have a different sign-up procedure. Who knows? We got to talk about all that, but you do know the dates and when that's going to happen. So thank you, everybody who contributed. Thank you, everybody who lifted.
So it was the funniest, like after, it's like I sanctioned the New York City regional for the end of January. And, I put that announcement up, and it was right on the heels of states. And then also the Grand Prix that I just ran. And it's just, somebody texted me and was like, okay, calm down. We just left.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but this is what happens. It's the cycle just repeating itself.
I actually wanted to, like, for weeks before we actually talked about it, and I think maybe you brought it up, to ask you about the 80K regional. But I was like, let's give it some time. I know Sarah's I wanted to ask you the week between your meet and states, but I'm like, all right, Sarah's got a meet coming up. Let's not. But then when I saw you sanctioned a New York City regional, I was like, all right, I guess we're in regional territory again now.
No, we are in 2026. Like, this is, we are always operating ahead in time. So we are future time travelers always. Got a plan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've already said my closing thoughts. Just a big thank you to everybody for the state championships. It was a wonderful time. It's a great celebration of New York weightlifting every year, and we're happy to do it. Can't wait for next year. Save the date if you're listening this far. November 16th at 7 p.m. will be the general membership meeting to close out the year for the WSO, and that'll be posted on social media too. So
Oh, and also I will just say while we're here talking about this sort of stuff, and then December 17th, save the date if you're interested. We will be doing the USA Weightlifting General Assembly. So that's where Matt Sicchio, the CEO, and probably Mike Choi, who is the board chair, will be leading. I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to do like an open question submission ahead of time, but he will present, the highlights from 2025, of which there are many, actually.
Nice.
Like, we just had the most medals we've ever won at a world championships. So, stuff like that. But anyway, December 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And also, that's a very important day. That's my birthday. So
yeah, that's right. I have it on my phone.
So, hey, maybe CEO Matt will shout out a little happy birthday, James McDermott, during the General Assembly meeting. Hey, maybe I'll tune in for my birthday.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sara. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Follow at New York Weightlifting on Instagram, New York WSO or nywso.com. Sara, where can people follow you?
Sara Soto Rep on Instagram.
All right, and follow me, James A. McDermott, on Instagram. We'll be back again soon. I know.
Yes, we won't take as long. Yeah,
we'll be back. Have a good day, everybody.